Everly was our firstborn daughter. We had tried for a very, very long time to get pregnant and had to go through fertility treatments and all of those awful things that nobody likes to think about when they're trying to start a family.
We had to adapt to a new normal, which nobody prepares you for. The good days for us were running into people that you knew that had heard about our situation. However, the bad days were days in the early days where you ran into people that hadn't heard. And so along came the questions with, how's the baby? Or is Rhonda still pregnant? And so this happened for 3 to 4 weeks at least after the funeral. We started trying to develop other coping mechanisms, such as seeking counseling for us both, because it affected us both in different ways.
And for me, writing and putting my voice out there kind of into the blackness that was life at the time, and finding some voices finally speaking back and saying, I understand and this is why, that was a huge comfort to me. We both got tattoos. So yeah, we both have tattoos. Our own, they don't match or anything, just our own little design to kind of remind us that she's with us every step of the way. We might be a little bit peculiar in that instance, that we tend to look at situations of hardship with a lens of humor. The most comforting thing that somebody could say to me was, I'm sorry for your loss.
I would say I was a little bit more reserved at times in my grief. You grow to try and, you'll never get over the pain. To be perfectly honest, every day you feel the pain. What you will grow to over time is you'll grow accustomed to the pain to the point where you might actually be able to start to function again.
And the pain won't go away, but you'll learn to cope with it a lot better. That we would have to go through the labor process and be induced and go through all of those awful physical things that postpartum brings, the pain and the discomfort and the stitches and the bleeding and the swollen breasts. It was, you still have to go through all of that, and to have doctors and nurses who understand that and can give you the right kind of care to deal with your own body afterwards, because that's not something a lot of mothers have to go through. I mean, your body has to heal and your mind has to heal. Pregnancy is trying at the best of times, even when, you're the most healthy person you can be.
From a couple's perspective, I think the best thing you can do is to be there for each other. If you're supportive of one another, if you're understanding and empathetic of or even trying to understand what the other person is going through, you can come out of the situation stronger, probably, than even before you went into it.
And I would have to kind of find a healthy balance between what was logical and what I emotionally needed. When you go through something like this, it seems like for a very long time the air is very heavy, and there's just this thickness in everything you do of emotions and rawness.
Well, and you're always afraid of upsetting the other person, I think. So, we would try and make light of things as best as we could, just to try and, again, break that ice. You have to become your own best support team at that point. And so you have to learn how to lean on the other person. When you have bad days, you might not be having the same bad day, but you will have days where you look at each other and it's just, this is my bad day and I'm gonna need some help to get through it, and vice versa.
How you grieve is deeply, deeply personal, and no two people are going to do it the same way. So don't let anybody tell you that it's not okay to feel the way that you feel.
As we moved or tried to move forward with our lives and consider going back to have a second child, that it was really important for us to find an obstetrician and gynecologist that would be able to sympathize with our condition. I would say almost right up until the time of delivery, we were very much under the impression of, people would say to us, well, when the baby comes, and we would always counter with, if the baby comes. And people would ask us constantly, what are you hoping for this time? We're hoping for alive and healthy. Most people would just say healthy. We would always say alive and healthy. People don't know what to say, so they say the first thing that comes to mind, which may be, how are things going today? And to that you can give as much or as little information as you want. The other side of the coin, though, is that because people don't know what to say, sometimes they don't say anything at all, and the silence can be absolutely deafening. I think for both Ron and I, we would much prefer somebody asking us how we're doing than be in an entire room of people and be the only people that are not being talked to.
One of the most helpful things that people can do is ask how you're feeling and be ready for the answer that they might get. In those first couple of months, couple of weeks, couple of days, it's really hard to see beyond that immense, all-consuming pain, not just grief, but physical pain that you feel from your loss. But you have to put your head down and keep going. Look to the next foot in front of the other. Look to the next day, to the next hour if that's what you need to do, and just keep pushing forward. So a day will pass and you'll cry, and you'll cry every day. And then one day will come and you won't cry that day, and it won't be any particularly monumentous day. It might be, the most normal day you've had, and that'll be the day that you won't cry, and that'll be day number 1.